Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another high-level Marvel Rivals cast. We are once again covering from the leaderboard here, but I have used the website rivalsmeta.gg to find out who, according to their statistics at the time of me recording, is the best Emma Frost player, and I have found a game from them. So we're going to be jumping into that, and it just so happens to, coincidentally, be part of a 3-stack from the #1 European team, Virtus.Pro. So let's head on into that game so that we can have all the entertaining matches that we see. So, we are once again, as usual, going to be calling our teams Red Team and Blue Team. Blue Team having the triple stack of Virtus.Pro players SparkR, Sypeh, and Nevix. And Red Team, all high-ranked players. In the top tier. We are in Grandmaster / Celestial, I believe, at the moment, in terms of how many days it's been. It's currently, at the time of me recording, the 15th. Starting off with the Psylocke and the Groot ban. Very sensible. Nevix was a huge Groot player back in the day, but they're going to be the ones who ban it to take it away from by the looks of it. Ducky. Lots of Hulk bans. Another thing that Nevix is absolutely insane on. Whereas Blue Team going to be focusing more on the Human Torch, who has massively jumped up in terms of priority, the burst damage, the pressure it gives, the harassment from the sky. With so few hit scan characters in the game right now, it's easier to just take away the strongest flyer. We are on Central Park here today, ladies and gentlemen, and we are beginning to select our heroes. Looks like we might be seeing a triple strategist composition from Red Team, as they are currently hovering the Jeff, but that might just be for a speed boost to get them out of spawn. We will have to see. They are on the attack, so they can take a little bit of time to mess around and wait that out if they wish to. But let's head on in and introduce our players, ladies and gentlemen, on the left-hand side. In the blue trunks, it is going to be Eco on the Magneto. Atrosty will be playing the Lunar Snow. YZNSA, they are playing the Hawkeye Say Yay. SparkR will be playing the Hella. Sypeh is bringing out the Invisible Woman. And Nevix, the #1 ranked Emma Frost, according to Rivals Meta. And on the right-hand side, in the red trunks, it is going to be Oasis playing the Lunar Snow. Alura is on the Emma Frost. Jerky will be bringing out the Jeff, already going for quite the flank here, where kneesocks is playing the Rocket. Luthern on the Winter Soldier, leaving us with Ducky on the Magneto. So Jerky, with that Lunar Snow upgrade, look at the evasion here. Gets a lot of flanking potential. This is what we do see Jeff played as these days, as the third strategist to be in the backline. You're so hard to pick off, so sustaining, so quick that you can just pressure into the backline and use your bubbles to burst heal if you do get run down. As you can see, the big pressure coming in from SparkR to try and lock them down, but Jeff is already out of there. In the meantime, Nevix already trying to pile on the pressure, but they're being driven off the point. They need to turn around and step back in here, but this Jeff is making it a little bit harder because it keeps harassing on the back line. But they're going to dive in with the diamond form, kicking the Magneto into the invisible boundary to deny the vision from the rest of their team. Trying to push on forward. Big dive coming in from Alura. Psionic Seduction from Nevix, already off cooldown. Going to lock a couple members in here. Give them a little bit of extra stain. In comes YZNSA with that Hunter's Sight to try and get into the front line here. Kraken Impact, not locked down here. A SparkR will pick up Luthern. Oasis falls, and we are seeing a full pickup here. A retreat coming out of the remaining members of Red Team, and Blue Team will hold. 2/3 have been captured, though, by the side of Red Team. We're going to be spending a lot of time on Nevix, as we did mention. They are the #1, according to Rivals Meta, Emma Frost player. And I'm sure a lot of people are curious about that, and I am, if anything, a complete slave to the algorithm. Nevix piling on the pressure. dueling out with Alura, who's dropping their own psionic seduction here, trying to catch anyone off on the sidelines, but they're zoned away completely. Everyone able to take cover. Jerky drops, will be revived at the BRB, but now Alura and Luthern have fallen with no revives available. Ducky takes out SparkR, but where kneesocks also snowballing through, finds the Hawkeye, picks them off, and we are seeing a massive numbers advantage here in favor of red team. Nevix tries to hold, tries to buy time. Diamond form to absorb and block the It's Jeff, as Nevix is basically soloing on the point right now. Here comes Eco to try and hold. They're funneling in one at a time. SparkR has swapped to Strange for reinforcements on the last slither of the point. They're going to try and hold this. Sypeh has dropped that invisible boundary, and they're forced to back off. Nevix was not touching, but that's going to be point number 1, grabbed by the red team. Sypeh barely getting away here. Nevix still trying to hold them at the cart. Waste their time, buy time. YZ just set up, and that is a big pickup. Using that mental focus, getting flipped here. The Emma Frosts dueling in diamond forms here, trading shots, and there's the counter. No crystal kick though. Psionic seduction coming out. Nevix trying to lock down a couple members, dropped low. There's not enough damage to follow up on this. Under sight once again coming in from the Hawkeye, but focus down here, picked up by Luthern. Aya Magamoto came out from SparkR, who is trying to turn this round and bring their team in here. Running triple Vanguard right now. They're trying to push this back. Blue team on the retreat though, and their retreat is getting slowed because Jerky is still on the flank right now on this Jeff, causing issues. It's Jeff coming in to see who they can grab. Gonna get just Sypeh, shielded by Magneto. Will make it to the edge, but they may have to run off the edge. No, they're just going to spin out the invisible woman. They don't want to get picked off, so they try to finish them off, find them, isolate them, and take them 1v1. But turning invisible, Sypeh has already escaped here. Where are they? They're gone. They are gone. Not even worried. Going into that 1v1. In the meantime, on the backline, Sypeh will finally fall, so trapped away from the rest of the team there. Nevix has been forced into the doorway. Alura trying to get onto that front line, isolating Nevix here. The focus is good. Shield from Magneto to healers just coming back here. Healing starting to come in. Alura's doing so much damage. Nevix with another ult here. Trying to get onto the front line, isolates Oasis and is moving in for more. Getting good damage output here. Gonna push back the members of red team. SparkR bringing out the Wolverine to mix this up, and there's a triple strategist for blue team as well, as YZNSA will be bringing out the Lunar Zone. There you go, I pronounced it both ways so that everyone can get mad at me. Ducky on the Magneto, currently on the high ground, keeping the pressure on. Trying to find the right angle. Keep their team topped up. See a quick Psychic Spear coming out there from the Emma Frost, trying to get some big burst. There's the isolation from Wolverine, followed by the flip from the Diamond form. Absolutely brutal here, as it's Jeff. Oh boy. Into the backline, finds nothing. Atrosty also on Jeff, mixing it up here. Gets Emma focused down. Realizing they're going to get picked off, they're taken out, but they did. SparkR has also been sent to their elimination there. They went off the edge or something. I'm not sure what happened there. Luthern takes to the sky with the Galactic Legend. Invisible Boundary can try and counter it out here as YZ is getting focused down. The solo damage Wolverine to try and hold this. Media M from Ducky to try and break through that front line. Fate of both worlds coming in from YZ, but Oasis is still holding on to theirs. So they've got that counterplay here. Eco, Media M to try and burst through the defenders, or at least just take out anyone, someone. Not finding it though, as YZ's taken out by Jerky. Ducky gets Atrosty. Oasis coming in. Here comes the Psionic Seduction from Nevix to try and buy time, and they're focused down and picked off here. Eco now delaying. It's 1-1. But that's going to be point number 2 in overtime. Nice soul siphon there, but forced immediately to get out of there and teleport to the new spawn point. Going back to Hawkeye. Returning to a double strategist setup. Realizing their triple strategist isn't holding the line for the moment. They don't really have anything to deal with a Star-Lord if they're going to run a solo damage Wolverine. They do, however, have a Magneto. Able to pick that up very easily. Pushing on in. They have a Magneto. It's not theirs. They do have one of their own, but that was not theirs that they just took. Nevix once again driving the front line. Trying to focus down onto Ducky. Keep them zoned away. The cart has been stopped. 40 seconds left. It's not a long time. It's Jeff in the backline. Did they get anyone? Looks like yes. Takes out Atrosty. Trying to hold the line. Diamond form coming in. Big stun from Wolverine with the final stand to hold the line. Galactic Legend. Invisible boundary. Not available, so they don't have much protection. Finds Aegis to try and give them something to hide behind as Luthern takes out YZ. Pushes on through. They're trying to zone him out. Blaster Barrage. But they can't deal with this Star-Lord. He's just too protected. Not enough damage coming out. Psychic Spear to try and hold the line. Diamond form once again. Dueling Emma Frost to try and push on through. Overtime is pushing in. Here comes that Psionic Seduction, but the shields are up, but it's still gonna catch Nevix. Finds Aegis directly into the front line, trying to split the team in two to prevent the healing from reaching. They have their own Psionic Seduction. They're holding onto it here. Gonna drop it. Trying to find anyone here. Not looking down to a single person. Finally gets Magneto for just a second to buy some time. Jerky finished off by YZ. Taking out Ducky. Pushing on through, but Jerky is back. This could be their chance to secure. Gets the double. Invisible Woman and Magneto. Wolverine takes them out. SparkR with the turnaround, their final stand to free their team members. And blue team clean red team off the point. Luthern has nothing they can do here. What a play from SparkR to hold them pre-3 points.
Time to switch things up, including which side you're on.
Nicely done, holding them in the air so they can be eliminated and free their teammates. Now it's up to blue team to push on in themselves to get a counter push going. How do they mix up the team? They're sticking with that Emma Frost. And how do red team mix it up for the defense? That composition seemed to be working pretty well. And as such, they're just going to stick with it. So we're just going to stick with that Hawkeye. Same compositions for both teams. Neither one going to mix up from how they ended the game here. Let's have a look at some statistics. In the halftime stage. Top damage, 23k from Nevix. Topping the damage chart, and by quite a lot. Second highest is 16k. That's a heck of a lot. That's 7k more. Very nicely done. Nevix doing some great work. Top damage blocked. Gonna be Alura though. 36k damage blocked. That's 10k more than Nevix. And top healing. 30k currently for Atrosty. Nope, sorry, the things move. It's for 31k for Sypeh. They hold the lead. Making their way in. Jeff continuing to be a tiny menace. Keep the pressure on. Look at that flag potential. Having to drop that protection. The Guardian Barrier. For at least a little bit of sustain here. Need to be able to deal with that. It's going to be YZ. Trying to hunt down the Jeff, but they just can't hit him. They're too fast. Luthern also quite far up here. They might not be so lucky. Much less fast. Great pickup there by SparkR, but they can't seem to find the finishing blow. Nevix is in the front line in that diamond form to try and sustain through. Forced to back up, and the shield is not up fast enough from Eco. But they're still trying to tag this. That's a solo Vanguard shields onto SparkR so they can get out after trying to get an initial engage. Invisible boundary at the ready. The only ultimate currently at the ready. Finally faded both worlds. will become available for Oasis. Good pickup, good isolation, onto Emma Frost, trying to lock them down, trying to focus, and they get it, but YZ is taken down, as is Atrosty. Jerky is in the background, being an absolute menace right now, looking for Sypeh. Doing huge work, takes them down. And this Jeff is a problem. They need to be able to deal with this. They need to stop this Jeff from being in the backline and getting taken out. As such, we're going to get a flyer. A lot of Jeff's damage comes, well, that is also a way to deal with that. A lot of Jeff's damage comes from hitting the floor with AoE. Can't really do that if YZ is in the air, but Luthern on that hella can. It's a very well-balanced composition. Nevix still driving the front line. Mine's Aegis is down up to the high ground. Beautiful kick onto Luthern, but it's not enough. Psionic Seduction grabs 3. Final stand to push him in further. Psychic Spear coming in for extra damage. Media M's traded in Syncrasy. The Goddess of Death to try and clean out what's left, gets YZ. Jerky goes down to SparkR, and that point is ticking up. Ego is holding the point right now. The map transformation, Rocket trying to touch to buy time. Magneto makes it on as well. Portal comes in. It's a last-ditch effort, but SparkR has taken down Luthern on the flank. Here comes Jerky, mag for mag. But focus down and picked off here. Invisible boundary buying the time, and point 1 is going to go over to blue team. There's nothing that can be done to stop them.
Help get that vehicle to its destination.
Blue team finally activating that first cart. Will be making their way in towards Dracula's castle.
A little extra oomph.
Jeff on the flank. They saw him. They hear him. They know it's happening.
Happy to help.
Nevix taking down Luthern. Not entirely sure what happened there, but attacks from above. Sets up the Mind's Aegis.
Halfway there. Keep going.
Lot of extra protection. Psychic Spear coming out from Alura, so they try to keep him distracted. Counter Psychic Spear from Nevix. Mind's Aegis to block it. Diamond form. Trading blows back and forth. Who activated first? Can the other get this crowd control on him? Looks like it was almost exactly even here. The focus is good, but it's a lot of trading. Wolverine finding the focus onto Alura, but not finding the finishing blow. Jerky did fall in the back. SparkR, final stand, not able to find the finishing blow here. YZ is taken down. Trying to pull them in, but the shields are a bit too much. The sustain, fade of both worlds. Meteor M from Ducky on the red team to try and blast on through. Trying to take out Nevix, and there's just too much sustain. Counter Meteor M, looking for the backliners. Finds nothing, sees Jeff, who is still causing problems on the back. Omega Hurricane in the backline, trying to take out Rocket, catches the midair, getting great damage. Magneto as well. The team 2 split, no healing left available. And now we're seeing the pickups. Storm, YZNSA, and Nevix blast on through that. Eco even finds Jerky. Making their way up to the altar. Trying to take out some walls, remove some cover, give them better shooting angles later on. Gotta keep an eye on this Jeff. Jeff is available here. Jeff already in the backline. So fast. So hard to pin down. SparkR wants it. SparkR wants it bad, but this is a 1v1 that's pretty hard to take. Have to make their way back to the rest of their team to get healed up. Just bubbles and quick fleeing after that. Nevix with the Psionic Seduction, trying to lock him in. Finds Jerky on the backline, chasing them out here. But while this is happening, their team is a little bit without the front line. Luthern comes in on that Winter Soldier. Omega Hurricane comes on in. If they can get the Storm, they get the reset. Deep into the backline, looking for more, but wiped off the board there. Sypeh with the invisible barrier, buying some time. Nevix pushing further forward. They didn't all go down. They held the line. Psychic Spear for a little bit of burst damage, finds Aegis. But suddenly Nevix is getting zoned away a bit here. Their team's been forced to back out. They can't just stay here alone despite the amount of sustain that this Emma Frost has. They don't want to get picked up. Focus down, shield from Mag. They're escaping, their heals blocked off temporarily there by the map transformation. Buying as much time as they can. SparkR taken out mid-ult. A devastating setup here. Jerky waiting for the trap. Finds Hawkeye and only Hawkeye, but that is still a pickup if they can get them to the edge of the map. Or just isolate them. The 1v1 is something that Jeff isn't going to have too much difficulty with. There they go. Sonic Seduction from Alura to try and take out the rest. A lot of focus onto SparkR. Sonic Vortex. Setting a little bit of zoning up. Beautiful pickup. Trying to get Alura, but they can't do so. SparkR falls. Nevix holding the front line diamond form, but is picked off here. The chase is just too aggressive. 40 seconds left. What is left in the tag? Respawns coming out from the blue team. They can afford to walk in one more time after that. First person who gets eliminated better be swapping to that strange and hope their team can hold overtime. Ultimate economy pretty even. SparkR bringing out the Scarlet Witch to try and deal with this Jeff here. No more percentage damage that they used to have. So just trying to deal maximum damage, and with the lock on here. Sonic Seduction not finding the target's fate of both worlds to hold the line. Atrosty is already down. Media M for Eco. Not picking off anyone. The shield is too good. Invisible barrier. Kraken impact comes out, but that invisible barrier is holding them together. Holding the line for the moment. Luthern being targeted, being dropped down. It's pretty good. As suddenly blue team seem to have broke the siege. Ducky has swapped to the thing to try and rush on in. Here they come. Trying to buy time. Alura on Venom to try and touch the car, which they do, holding the overtime right now, as Omega Hurricane will be coming in. SparkR trying to set up, and they have the time if they need to try and hold it, but they don't even need to ultimate, as blue team will take the 3-2. Nicely done. Sypeh grabbing MVP at the end there. Two-time European champion right there. As is SparkR and Nevix. Let's have a look at some of these statistics at the end. 35 eliminations, top of the board, going over to SparkR. Very high elimination game you can see here for both sides. A lot of them did come in from Jerky. 11 final hits on Jeff. The third highest in the game, behind YZNSA, the main damage dealer, and SparkR, the main damage dealer, and the same as Nevix. But it's damage where you start to see that. Of course, the Jeff showing exactly why people play Jeff this way. 24k damage, did get taken out 11 times, but they took a lot of people with them, and still got 12k healing, which is pretty reasonable. This is why we do see that balance of the character, and the fact they forced a swap from SparkR to try and deal with them in that final push, pretty sensible here. And then we look at the actual damage done here. We got the damage dealers. We got Luthern, 28k, 24k for Jerky, 26k for SparkR, 25k for YZNSA, 43k for Nevix. They almost doubled all of the DPS's damage. This is why they are the #1 Emma Frost right now, according to Rivals Meta. But they have shown that there's some potential here. Damage blocked, though. As usual, the team that was behind is going to be the one who took more damage in this case. Although, again, that match was pretty even here. 70k damage blocked for Alura. They got taken out almost twice as much. In fact, over twice as much as Nevix, though. Compare that as well. Ducky, the other main frontliner, also got taken out over twice as much. Almost 3 times as much as Nevix or Eco. Shout out to Eco, by the way. 28k damage. Also out-damaging almost all the damage dealers. Doing a great job. But yeah, 49k damage blocked and 42k to 55 and 70. But going down much more times, if you go by the amount of damage they take divided by the amount of eliminations, it is heavily in favour of Nevix and Eco. And finally, top healing numbers. They're MVP for a reason. 53k, only the second highest healing, but showing just how valuable they were. 70k damage as well, showing the power of this invisible woman. And 26k damage blocked using those shields, keeping the team protected. But 54k healing is going to be the highest, only by about 500. There's not a lot in it at all. That's going to be Oasis. Fate of Both Worlds, pretty good ability. They got taken out just 2 times more than Sypeh. Did get SVP for their team as well. Both of them got 5 final hits. Sypeh got a little bit more damage, and of course absorbed a lot more damage due to the fact they had that barrier. But that's it for our observation? Our casting. I forgot how to speak there for a second. That is it for our wonderful game that we just covered of the current #1 Emma Frost player. Reminder that I am doing these as the fill. I'll also be uploading some different content in the future. Let's tell you what the plan is. These are all plans in progress, so if stuff doesn't appear, it's because it just wasn't feasible or it got cancelled. It was either too time consuming, or I just didn't have the resources because I don't have a lot of money. That I'm doing all this just out of my own will and pocket, basically, which I don't make a lot. So I just do this because I love it and want to bring y'all content. But I'm planning on bringing you these games every day. And then I want to try and do a weekly esports roundup, like a news section basically, where we cover all the tournaments. Because there's a lot of incredible third-party tournaments happening as well. And I really think that some more attention should be brought to those. So I want to try and make that. The problem is I need to make a lot of graphics to make it look good, which is a little more difficult because in case you haven't noticed with the fact that I've just got a looping video in the background, I'm not really a graphics guy. I'm not good at that. I try my best every time, but I don't have the resources when it comes to that. I just try my best. But that's one thing. I also want to try and do I'm working on a quiz show. I've done a quiz in the past for Pokemon and for Heroes of the Storm, and I'd love to do one for Marvel and Marvel Rivals content, so I'd love to do something like that. There's also a game show idea that I'm floating, but I haven't even started working on that. But this is the content that we're working on until Season 2 starts. And then we'll be covering the Season 2 MRC stuff in a different way to how we have previously. We'll be going, we won't be covering as many games. We'll just be covering the big, important ones as best as we can. Unfortunately, because now we can't trust NetEase to not delete all the replays. So I'll also watch the actual dev recap better to make sure that the replays do survive. And if so, then we'll cover some extra games that way and we'll try and lead it. But we need to be careful now because we have now been burned once before. But I hope you've all enjoyed. Remember, if you want to see any particular games cast, then maybe drop a replay ID. Go through Rivals Meta. There's a good place to try and find some cool games. You can look at each character's leaderboard and see what the best players are, and then scroll through their replay IDs on there. Or you can scroll through in-game and have a look for them. Some players obviously hide their stuff. Obviously, I can't get from them, and I try to avoid casting those players when I can, but it's not, I can't help it sometimes. If they're in a game with another player, I don't have much of a choice. But I try to work around it, but it's not possible the majority of the time. But if you could, I also want to cast some just general replays. So make sure you send in your replays. Once we get 5,000 subs, which we are very close to right now, then we will be covering even more games. We'll be live streaming. So I'll be covering lots of games in one day in a situation in a live stream, and I'll be casting some that won't even make it to YouTube. So make sure to follow me on Twitch as well, as I'll be attempting to dual stream, so you can check out the games that way. And of course, if you want to support the channel, then consider subscribing, hitting that notification bell so you see when games go live. That would be appreciated very much. Liking the video and commenting to help with the algorithm. Sharing it with someone who is a big esports or Marvel Rivals fan in your community would be super helpful. Set up a watch party. I don't know. Whatever works. And of course, you can also assist by just making sure you turn off your ad blocker if you don't have YouTube Premium to help me, make anything I can to help do this. If you're a company who wants to sponsor a tournament, let me know. I've run alone in the past and I want to run more. And of course, you can become a member like Roshula, Doki Poki, and our longest running member, John, who are supporting the channel and helping me, make this content for you all. For now, though, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you've had a wonderful day, and I will see you all tomorrow.